Robin.
Hey, Laura.
How's it going?
Great. I'm so excited to do some tie-dyeing today.
I'm very excited as well. So, first of all, we want to make sure that you have all of your supplies. Do you have your kit that you got from Pittsburgh Community Library?
I do. It's right here. It might be slightly off screen for everybody, but it's right here.
You see it? All right. So there are some other things that you'll need from home. First is paper towel. Find some of that.
Check.
Excellent. Also, a couple of containers. They could be just like that one you have right in front of you. They could also be just something out of the recycle bin that's clean and not sharp that you could fill with water.
Okay.
And speaking of water, you'll need a warm water source too. It's important that the water's warm so that all of the supplies that we'll use can dissolve. You've got some there. Wonderful.
Okay.
And then you'll need a space, which I see you've got there.
Mm-hmm.
Clear space, and it's protected by some plastic covering, which is good, just in case. We think we can contain the mess, but it's always good to be prepared.
Extra safe.
Yes. Okay. So, with your small container, which you have right in front of you, you can add the soda ash. And how will you know which one is the soda ash?
Well, I do believe I have a soda ash container right here. It says soda ash right on it, right? Okay, should I put my gloves on first?
You should definitely put your gloves on first.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I don't want to get any soda ash on my skin, right?
Absolutely not. In fact, if you have sensitive skin or you're working with small kiddos, even if you have your gloves on, it's good to maybe reduce the soda ash by half so that it's just a little bit less concentrated and will be a little easier on everybody if they get splashed.
Okay, that's a good idea. But I'm going to put all of mine in because I've done this before and I've got gloves on. Okay?
Perfect.
All right. So it's just going to go right in. All right.
Okay, so what is next? You're going to add about 2 cups of warm water.
Okay. Here, I'm going to put my warm water
in. You
in.
can just eyeball that. It's just going to be maybe between 1 and 2 inches in there.
Okay. You can see how much that is.
That's good. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, that's probably good. All right. Now what do I do?
You can give it a stir with either a stir stick that you have in your kit or your gloved hand. It's up to you.
Okay, I'm going to try it with a stir stick and see how that goes. I might use my hand though. So it is kind of hard to break up, but that's normal, right?
That is normal. You don't really want any big chunks in there, so if you see a big chunk, you can just squish it up. But the water will be cloudy no matter what, so don't worry about that.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, that looks pretty dissolved.
So once your soda ash solution is all set, you can grab your mask. You don't necessarily need to pre-wash it, even though normally we would suggest that with like a shirt or something that you were tie-dyeing. We've tried the masks and they do okay absorbing the dye without being pre-washed. So you can just drop it right in.
All right, it's going in.
Going in.
All right.
So make sure it's completely submerged. If you have more of a vertical container, you can just kind of pack it down in there.
All right.
And then we're going to set that aside.
Okay. I'm going to put it right over here.
Perfect. And we can let that soak for about 5 to 10 minutes. And in the meantime, while your mask is soaking, you can remove the tops of your dye cups with dry gloves. So you grab some paper towel.
Yeah, mine are super wet right now, so I need to dry them off.
And the reason we do that is any little piece of, even if it's a tiny, tiny speck of powder, it will immediately turn into dye droplets as soon as it gets wet. So.
All right.
That looks great.
All dry. Okay. Now I've got my 2 dye cups here, and one says green and one says blue.
And so you can mix up both, or you can just mix up one. It's up to you. Blue and green are our PCL colors, so we like to use both. And you can put those actually right inside of your other container.
Second container, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna put both of them in here then. All right.
Perfect. And that just helps you contain the mess a little bit, which is always good.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So you have your warm water there, and you have your stir stick. You have two stir sticks, actually.
I do, yeah.
What we will do is start with, which color would you like to start with?
I want to start with green. Green's one of my favorite colors.
Delightful. So you can start pouring the warm water slowly pouring it in, because it's a tiny cup, and you don't want to fill it all the way up, and you want to stir it if you can while you're pouring. If you can't do that, if it's a little too heavy, you could either get somebody to help you pour, or you could stir afterwards. That's fine too. It's just a little easier if you stir as you pour, so that you don't get those clumps in there.
Okay.
The other thing you could do is pour a little bit and then stop pouring and then stir.
Okay. I'm gonna give that a try and see how that goes.
How's it looking in there?
Let's see. Well, here's the green. It's pretty intense.
Gloppy.
It's already dyeing my stir stick a beautiful green.
Lovely.
And just like the soda ash, it is taking a bit to dissolve, but that's totally normal, right?
That's totally normal. Yep.
Okay. All right. I think that's actually pretty close to dissolved.
All right. So you could add a little more water then.
Okay, great. All right. I think that's perfect. It looks pretty good.
Great.
All right, now should I do the blue?
You can wipe your gloves off
Good
first.
idea.
It's always good to wipe your gloves a lot. You can keep just kind of a paper towel that you reuse and you find the little dry spots. You just want to blot the wetness off, because it can interfere, it can mix things up that you don't want mixed. So
All right.
dry gloves are happy gloves.
All right, I have some dry gloves. Time to do blue.
Time to do blue. You've got another stir stick. You can use the same one. It's up to you how careful you want to be about mixing colors.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go in with my fresh one, so I have some super distinct colors. Whoopsie.
Okay, great.
All right. Let's see.
That was a perfect demonstration of why it's great to have a container that you can work in so that you contain the mess.
Absolutely, because I'm making a huge mess here, and if I was just doing this on the table, it would be all over the place.
And all over the library books, which is
And
not.
that would not be good. Not at all. All right. This one's a little bit trickier to stir up, but that's okay.
That one has a little bit more dye powder in it, so it'll be a little harder to stir up. Some of the colors need twice as much powder as other colors. It just happens to be the way that they're made. And so we had to add twice as much of the blue color as we did with the green.
I did not know that. All right, let me see. I don't see any chunks on the bottom, and it feels like it's pretty good. So I think I should be good. I'm gonna add a little bit more water just to make sure it's all mixed up.
And I would just be careful. Yeah.
I have blue all over my hands, so I'm gonna wipe that off
Yes.
so it doesn't get on our pitcher.
It's the way to do it.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's pretty good. And we're a teeny tiny little bit more water in here. All right. Okay, they're all mixed up.
All mixed up. Okay, so let's see. It's been almost 5 minutes. We could give it a little longer if we want to.
Okay.
Yeah, for the next part, give yourself some very dry gloves, because this is the part where if you have dye on your gloves and you put them onto your nice white mask right now, it's going to leave little color freckles, which could be a fun technique, but might not be what you want. So
Okay.
if you don't want that,
Mine are as
Okay.
dry as they can be, so
okay.
that's
Great.
good. Okay.
And we're back.
Okay. All right. So my mask is, I'm going to move this out of the way so I can much more closely look at this. Okay, so my mask has been soaking for what, like 10 minutes? So now I want to wring it out, right?
Yes. So you're going to wring it out as much as you possibly can. And it's
All right.
nice that it's tiny, so you don't have to do a lot of wringing. Sometimes the shirts are really tough to do. That look, I should be good.
And my gloves did put a little blue on it. So keep that in mind. If you get
Is
any
okay.
your gloves, it's going to get a little bit on. All right, I think that's pretty
really good squeeze. Perfect.
It's perfect.
So now we get to the fun part. So you decided what kind of tie job you'd like to do on this mask, right, Robin?
I did. I wanted to do a spiral. I think those look really cool.
Spiral
So
is my
I'm gonna
favorite as well.
Okay. So let me see. I'm going to move this out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to, let me just make sure. Okay. I'm going to pinch it in the middle and then I'm just going to twist this around
Mhm.
so that it sort of makes like a little cinnamon bun shape.
Yeah.
And then sort of get it so everything's in like a circle. And it's not super pretty, but that is what it looks like. Can you see that?
I think it's lovely.
Okay, thank you, Laura. All right, and now, am I gonna rubber band this next?
You are going to rubber band. So for the spiral, I would say maybe 3 rubber bands.
Okay.
And they should all cross in the middle. So you want to go straight across the cinnamon bun. With
Okay.
each rubber.
All right, so I have my first rubber band on, and I'm moving around a little bit. Have it right across the center, just like that.
Perfect.
And then I'm gonna do a second one, and I think you said 3 for this size, right?
You could do 3. You could also just do 2. Could get real wild and do 4.
I don't think I'm gonna get that crazy. I think I'm gonna do 3.
Okay.
Okay, so there's my second one. And I'm gonna make sure that they're all lined up correctly so that the sections are the same on the front and the back.
And sometimes the rubber bands, when you loop them over again, they get separated, and you end up with a lot of little sections, and that's okay too, because that'll just give you a little more white space. Anytime the fabric is pinched up, it adds a little white space.
Okay, that's good to keep in mind. I'm just making sure that they're exactly where I want them to be.
It's serious business.
It is very serious business. Okay, I think that's good for me. All right, so I'm just cleaning up the excess dye that was on the bottom of this container so that it doesn't mess up the pattern that I want to do.
Perfect.
All right. Okay, so I'm putting my mask with all of its lovely rubber banding. I'm gonna put it right on the bottom here. Okay, and now what do I do?
Now you get to practice with your pipette. So in your bag, you had, there
Two of
it
these.
is,
2
2
pipettes.
of those. So you're gonna take one, and with your water that you have over there in your pitcher, you're just gonna practice with the pipette. And the reason that we're gonna do that is the pipette can really make a mess if you want it to. So
That's true.
if you don't want, it's good to get a handle on the way that it works. So when you go to use dye in it, you don't get the dye all over.
Mhm.
We're just gonna
So-
practice with water.
I'm gonna practice just a little bit. So I'm gonna squeeze the end here, just squeeze it, pinch it in, and then I'm gonna put it in the water. It sucks up a bunch of water. And then you just squeeze the end and it comes out again. And it
Yeah.
can be, like if I put it upside down, it's gonna go all over the place. So you have to be really careful and just point it down. And I'd recommend just pointing it in the box. Does that sound like a
Yep,
good idea?
in the box is the way to go,
Okay,
for
awesome.
sure.
All right. So I feel pretty good in my pipetting skills. What's next?
You've mastered the pipette. Okay, I think we are ready to dye. So we're gonna scoop up some dye in the pipette. And in fact, if you wanna move the mask out just so we can see, if you're at home, I would just keep it right in that container. But you can even keep, should probably find a third container for the dye, really. That'd probably be the way to go. Just so we don't making me nervous sitting there. But for your mask, it's still in the container, but we want you to be able to see. And Robin's going to add her dye.
And I've got a plastic sheet down on this table, so we are going to be okay. Yeah. All right. So, but I'm going to go in with the first color that I want to do. I'm just going to go for it.
I see it.
You see it? Okay. All right. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to go in with some green. This is so pretty. It's such a good green.
Very green and very lovely.
All right. All right, and I just did that on one section. So we've got 6 sections here. I'm gonna alternate sections so that it sort of does like a fun, like green-blue mishmash all over. I'm gonna go on the back and get back here as well.
That looks beautiful.
Thank you. Trying very hard. Okay. Just a little bit more green. Okay. All right. And now I'm going to start on the blue, and I'm going to switch to the other pipette because I really want my colors to be distinct. So I'm going to go in with the blue. And get that all over the sections I haven't done yet. Okay, I feel pretty good about my my tie-dye. I've got blue and green all over.
Wonderful.
So what do I do now?
Well, now it might be good to blot up any excess dye before you lock it away in the container. So if your mask is still in your container, that's great. I would just take a paper towel and kind of scoot around. Make sure that if you have any puddles of dye, which we try to avoid, but sometimes happen, that they don't just sit there, because then they can infect other pieces of your spiral so that the colors won't be as distinct. So you can go ahead and blot it and then lock it up in its little container.
All right, so I'm going back to the container here, and I do have a little bit down here still, so I'm gonna clean that up. All right, and now I'm just gonna put it right in, right?
Right in.
All right, here we go. Okay. And top on, because we want to keep that sort of airtight. All right.
And away from fingers and paws.
Absolutely.
And now, I think we are all set to store that for 24 hours so that I can really soak in. And then we'll see you back here tomorrow and see what you cooked up as far as that mask.
Okay, awesome. Well, we'll see you guys in just a day. All right.
Okay. See you later.
Bye. Okay.
And we're back.
All right, we're back. It is a day later. We are ready to wash out my mask right here. But what do I do next?
Very, very well. So we are on step 14. Rinse the tie dyes thoroughly. Leave ties on and rinse under cold running water. So we'll start there. So leave those ties on. We'll get cold water going in the sink.
All right. All right, so I'm gonna get washing on this, and I think we're gonna be back in a couple minutes.
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we will switch over to warm water now.
Okay, great.
And now is the time when you can untie those rubber bands, unband those rubber bands.
All right.
Looking good. Look at that.
So cool. If I do say so myself, it looks really cool.
Okay, so how is the water looking that's running off of your mask?
Almost clear.
Great. After the water runs mostly clear, you can wring it out just like you did after it came out of the soda ash. So go ahead and give it a squeeze.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So what do I do now?
So now you can wash
Show
it
off my
either. Yes, everybody appreciate how awesome that looks.
Okay, so I wrung it out. Now what do I do?
Now you'll wash it in the washing machine with dark colors, or you can wash it in a small container, just like the one that you use to soak it in the soda ash.
Okay, awesome. And then I get to wear it, right?
Well, first we have to marvel at your creation. It looks amazing. The colors will fade just a bit in the wash, probably, but they will definitely keep that spiral. That spiral is impressive.
Thank you. I'm not the best tie-dyer, so this was a really good result for me.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. And be sure to send pictures of your finished wash mask through social media or by email to library@townofpittsburgh.org.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks, Robin. This is a good time.
Bye.
Bye.